Hey there, guys. Welcome to day one of our Bible reading plan. We're getting off to a good start, and so we're starting with two passages, Genesis chapter 1 and Isaiah 55, 6 through 7. So we're going to be looking at these two verses. And the question that I wanted to kind of pull out of you today, the first thing I wanted to ask is, what is the most important thing you can do today? What is the most important thing you can do today as a Christian? Okay. So I love asking this question because I feel like many times I misunderstand it. I feel like a lot of times when I used to ask my students this question, they would get this wrong. And so some of the most common answers people would say is the most important thing that I can do today as a Christian. They would say things like, I need to evangelize. I need to tell people about Jesus. I'll tell you that's not the right answer. They would say something like, I need to love others. For you, maybe say, I need to love my wife. I need to love my kids. I would tell you that's not the most important answer. The third thing somebody might say, like, well, I just need to do something charitable. I need to be generous. I need to serve others. I need to make the world a better place. And once again, all of these are really good answers, but they're not the best answer. And I think Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 and Isaiah 55 really hits on this. The most important thing that you can do today as a Christian is have a relationship with Jesus, is to connect with him. And I'm not talking about salvation. What I'm talking about is the most important thing for you to do today as a Christian is to do what you're doing right now, is to spend time with God, to think about him. And let me explain to you why this is because first off, we were created to have a relationship with God. God did not create us so that we could redeem the world. God did not create us so that we could make things better, although that is a part of it, and there seems to be some instruction in that in the New Testament. God created us to have a personal relationship with him. And so I used to love this illustration. And if you've ever flown on a plane before, you sat through the instructions that if, in the case of a flight, if cabin pressure is lost, the first thing that you are supposed to do is not to take the mask and put it on your child or to somebody next to you. The first thing that you are to do is to put the mask on yourself. And the idea behind that is that if you are going to help somebody else, you can't help them if you're passed out. So they tell you, put your mask on first and then help others. And I think the same principle applies to us today, is that if I want to be an evangelist, well, I can't tell people what I haven't told myself. So I've got to start in God's word. If I want to be a better husband, if I want to be a better father, that's a noble thing. That's a virtuous thing. But I can't do that until I've put God's word. No, my kids can't get anything from me that I don't possess. So if I don't possess love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, I can't give that to them. I've got to possess it myself. Some people may say, well, I want to do charitable works. Okay, well, charitable works comes out of a charitable spirit. And so the most important thing that you can do today is what you're doing right now, which is spending time with God. I think so many times as Christians, we think that reading their Bible, I'll hear this all the time, people say, oh, reading their Bible, it's a good thing. And what I would tell you is I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's a necessary thing. I don't think it's virtuous that we read God's word. I think it's necessary that we read God's words. I think we were designed. I think we were created. I think a lot of the world's problem, and I don't want to reduce this down too much, but I think a lot of the world's problems is that they're searching for something that they can only find in Jesus Christ. And many times we, even as Christians, we miss this, that we think if I just had a little more money, if I just had a little bit lower handicap, if I just had a little bit more excitement. And what God would say is that all of those things may bring you temporary, but what's going to bring you a lasting joy, what's going to bring you a lasting love is going to have a personal relationship with Jesus. And so this 5, 10, 15 minutes you spent this morning in God's word, just remember that is the most important thing you could do today as a Christian. Hope this helps. Bye.